A big crowd, over 40,000 expected. The Cardinals and Pirates, game one of a 4-game series. And along with the Mad Hungarian Al Rabaski, my name is Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Mike Matheny, you know that he, along with his coaching staff, they're headed to the All-Star game in Minnesota. Now 4 of his players are also going, and for a first-timer like Pat Neshek, hopefully it's sunk in. He's headed to the All-Star game, and excitement for he and his family.
Yeah, you can't be happier for Pat Neshek. It's also going to be a little bit of a reunion because his brother is a member of the grounds crew there in Minnesota. So I think there's going to be a little celebration between the brothers, but a great accomplishment for Pat. He's come a long way this year, coming from a minor league contract with the Cardinals, an invite to spring training, and now he's a National League All-Star.
It's a great story. Pat Neshek is available in the bullpen here tonight. Will we see him? Who knows? All-Star Adam Wainwright gets the call tonight for St. Louis.
All-star right there, a utility man making the team. And Josh Harrison will play right field tonight. He'll bat leadoff, and then Starling Marte, the left fielder. In center field, it's Andrew McCutchen. Their outfield is loaded. Gregory Polanco will sit tonight. Neil Walker bats cleanup. Russell Martin was hurt the last time that we saw the Pirates. Well, he's healthy now. We know he's a difference maker. The former Met, Ike Davis, the first baseman. Pedro Alvarez, 1 home run shy of 100 for his career. Jordy Mercer swinging a hot bat. He'll bat 8th, and the pitcher Charlie Morton will bat 9th. They'll face one of the game's best. He could start the All-Star game, and that's the Cardinals right-hander. You look at any of the categories in the National League, Adam Wainwright is at the top of many of those. He is starter, looking for his 12th win of the season, right-hander Adam Wainwright.
You mentioned third time that Adam Wainwright will be going to the All-Star team, and he was voted in by the players. He's won a Busch Stadium 3 record, 57 ball games, 2.68 ERA with that. But look at his year, 11-4. He leads the major leagues with his ERA, and that is microscopic at 1.89.
Here's Harrison to lead it off. First pitch is strike, and we're underway for game 1.
And I think we might surprise some people that Josh Harrison is an all-star. But remember, Clint Hurdle is on Mike Matheny's all-star coaching staff.
Second pitch of the game is popped up into shallow right. Craig couldn't find it. Now he does. Calls for it. Makes the play, and there's one away.
And I think Clint Hurdle really lobbied Mike Matheny for Josh Harrison, and we'll explain why after you give the lineups.
And the Cardinals defensively around the horn, brought to you by Dobbs, with Holiday, Jay, and Craig in the outfield. Taveras will sit tonight. Carpenter is an all-star for the second consecutive year. Last year at second base, this season at third. Peralta at short, Wong at second. He homered yesterday. Matt Adams, the first baseman, coming off a 4-hit day. First ever for him. And Yadier Molina, the workhorse, is behind the plate. Here's a look at Starling Marte, who leads their club in stolen bases with 21. Clint Hurdle, as Al mentioned, on the coaching staff for the National League.
Well, you know, Clint Hurdle, he's seen his ball club. They didn't pitch well the first 2 months. And they are also pretty much kind of trying to have a platoon out in right field. Nobody really took hold, but the Pirates are starting to play much better because they're starting pitching. And then a lot of people point to Josh Harrison playing virtually every day.
And a base hit for Marte on the 0-2 pitch.
And Harrison can play the middle infield positions. He can also play the outfield. So he has really become a key component to their entire field, their product, both offensively and defensively.
The reigning MVP of the National League is starting to really heat it up. Andrew McCutchen, great numbers. Cardinals held him in check. Remember, these two teams faced each other an awful lot in the first 2 weeks of the regular season. McCutchen got off to a slow start. Not so much now.
It was easy to vote for him as the National League Player of the Month. His numbers just dominated. He has had success against Adam, 13 for 34.
McCutchen, along with Alvarez, leading their club in home runs with 13. McCutchen leads their club in RBIs with 54. In the air, out to left, Holiday. 2 away.
See, it looked like they're looking for the ball away, and that ball just hung up. One of the few times you'll see kind of a hanging breaking ball there that McCutchen or some hitter doesn't do a little damage with, but maybe that's the type of luck that Adam has going.
Also varies the speeds of that curveball. He had McCutchen out in front. And here is Neil Walker, the switch hitter, second baseman, Pittsburgh native, batting cleanup. Looks at a fastball taken outside. Walker is hitting .272, 11 home runs, and he has driven in 38.
10 of his 11 home runs have come from the left side, where he hits just 3 points lower than right-handed, but pretty balanced, 275 versus 272.
This is the first time in nearly a month that the Pirates have faced a team that is playing above 500 baseball.
I noticed that too. And June 13th, they played the Marlins. That was the last time they played a club over 500. But they're coming in with feeling very good about themselves. As yesterday, they leapfrogged over the Cardinals and find themselves in second place in the Central Division.
Here's a 2-0 pitch inside, 3-0.
Yeah, and this is a real important week for the Cardinals. As you think about the 4 games here against the Pirates, hopefully you can win that, put a little separation. But then you take on Milwaukee over the weekend. So the whole National League Central could look a lot different a week from now.
A walk to Neil Walker. Don't see that very often from Adam Wainwright. And it brings in Russell Martin, who is 1 RBI shy of 500 for his career. I have felt, Al, and I'm sure to an extent you may agree with this, maybe not, but Russell Martin is, in a way, the guy that makes this thing go. Good player, offensively solid, but defensively means a lot to that young pitching staff.
That was, as you said, a key acquisition as a free agent. Maybe under the radar for some people, but he really did make a difference. Not only helping out their pitching staff, having that veteran back there, but he really shut down the opposition's running game. Everybody used to run like crazy against the Pirates. Now they don't do that, and he's hit Wainwright very well.
He's hit the Cardinals really well.
And he had 6 home runs against them last year. And as you said, he was hurt earlier in the season. I don't think the Cardinals took advantage of those games against the Cardinals. Or excuse me, Cardinals against the Pirates. They should have done better.
Runners at first and second. The 1-0 pitch. A cutter and a strike. Neither starter allows home runs. You're talking about the 6 that he hit a year ago. If you look at Charlie Morton, he's allowed .47 home runs since the beginning of the 2011 season. That's first in Major League Baseball. If you're wondering, Wainwright is third. Keep the ball in the ballpark. The curveball catches the corner, and it's 1-2.
Porter, a home plate umpire. He liked the bender there. Adam is 1-1 against the Pirates this year with a 1.20 ERA.
That's about his season ERA. He's been remarkable since opening day. The check swing and hit out of play.
Remember, in his last 10 starts, 6-2, 1.70 ERA with 2 complete games. One of those complete games was one of those losses, a 1-0 loss at the hands of the Dodgers.
Wainwright last time out had just 1 strikeout, but still dominated. That was against San Francisco. Furthest he had gone in a game, it was 7 2/3 with only 1 strikeout.
He didn't mind that because he was getting his ground balls. He was controlling the game and getting quick outs. This is one of the longest innings we've seen from him. He's about to throw a 17th pitch.
Here's a 2-2. And he hit Martin. Molina claiming potentially didn't hit his bat, but you can see that protective gear come flying off. I wonder if Yachty is also complaining about the effort of Martin to get out of the way.
Well, he hasn't gone to first base yet either. So we'll see here. Spins the breaking ball, but it kind of gets away from him. Didn't pull down on it. And you can see that they're trying to claim that he deliberately threw the elbow to hit that, have that pitch hit him. And they don't have to award him first base, and that's what Alan Porter's doing. You have to make an attempt to get out of the way. Now watch his lead elbow as he'll kind of turn it in there to get hit. And Alan Porter is going to tell him, watch the umpire right here. He's going to say, nope, no effort to get out of the way. You're staying right here in the batter's box.
That call's a little easier when the front arm comes off by about a foot and he leans in.
Now you're wearing the arm pad, but you know you can't use it as a weapon. You don't see that happen often, but it has in the past, and one time it was historical. That was when Don Drysdale had his scoreless streak. I believe it ended up at 58, and then Hershiser beat him at 59. But in that streak, the bases loaded, hit Dick Dietz, and they said he didn't get out of the way, and kept him at home plate, and the streak continued.
On 3-2, we'll do it again. It's not quite the Barry Bonds or Craig Biggio elbow protection, but still players are using that. You see Yadier Molina have a very similar type contraption on his elbow.
Other ones were outlawed that basically covered the entire arm.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Russell Martin. Curveball at 75 miles an hour.
You mentioned it, that Adam Wainwright really has made a concerted effort this year to disrupt the timing of a hitter, and we'll do it in different ways, by changing the speeds on pitches, but also changing his looks and his windup and stretch, how long he'll hold the ball.
Martin with a fly ball out to left. Holiday is there. Pirates strand 2 in the top of the first. and we will have a rain delay. So, Gila Tech rain delay in the bottom of the first. Light drizzle right now here at the ballpark. Looks a lot worse on TV than it really is, but we have a delay. away we go here for the bottom of the first. What an odd night it has already been here at Busch Stadium as Matt Carpenter will lead it off for the Cardinals. There's no score. You can see a light, and I mean a light, drizzle here at the ballpark. Carpenter, Holiday, Adams, then Craig Molina and Peralta, Jay, Wong, and Wainwright.
Second time the guys have taken the tarp off, off the roller and put it back on the roller. That tarp gets heavier and heavier each time you do it. The sky to the east looks pretty ugly, but the weather is coming from west to east, and it looks like it's a little clearer. Joe West is going to have a hard time trying to figure out what to do. Charlie Morton is 5-9 this year with a 3.30 ERA. He's had his problems in the past against St. Louis. He's just 2-10, and it's gone 0-7 his last 9 starts against the Redbirds.
Make sure Vince Coleman isn't around.
Well, this is a male tarp. Vince got caught by the female tarp. That was his explanation. One of the fastest guys in the game, and he got run over by a tarp that travels 3 miles an hour.
They are earning their pay here tonight.
Oh yeah, let's hope that's the last time we see our guy. And now it's really raining hard. How about this? Charlie Morton is looking right. Looked over to Joe West, the crew chief. Mike Davis and Joe are trying to figure out, well, it's going to be one of these games. But if they put the tarp on, it'll stop as soon as it gets.
I mean, it is pouring right now. The fans are heading for cover, and I don't blame them. And we are waiting for our first pitch. Joe West is the crew chief. It's in his hands and the crew.
And
all right, let's go. All right, let's bring it back out. I'll go work on another CD and get the tarp out here. You've got to be kidding me.
Well, look at here. It's already stopped almost to the west. Now they're going to stop it again. They're going to say, let's go play. Somebody has not been kind to the baseball gods today.
So here is Carpenter, the All-Star, hitting .282. First pitch by Morton is taken for a ball inside. It's a couple of times Al has pointed out to me that one half of the stadium was dry and the other half was getting soaked. I don't think I remember ever seeing that here at Busch Stadium 3.
As soon as they put the tarp on after Wainwright finished the first half inning, it was going on for a legitimate reason, but by the time they got it on to the west of the stadium, it stopped raining. The rain was just to the east.
Taken low by Carpenter, 2 balls and 1 strike.
That's the sky you're dealing with. That's coming from the good side.
And a ground ball hit to the right side. There is Ike Davis, steps on the bag for the out. Look at the Pittsburgh defense with Starling Marte in left, McCutchen in center, Harrison is in right. Arguably the fastest outfield in the National League. Pedro Alvarez has committed 18 errors at third base. They have the second most as a team in the National League. Jordy Mercer is at short, Walker at second, Davis, the former Met, at first. And we talked about Russell Martin, his importance. He's behind the plate as Holiday looks at a ball low and away. Matt is batting .263 with 5 home runs, and he has driven in 41. Still a light rain here at the ballpark. Rain delay to start the game. We never had rain. we start the game, we get rain.
Charlie Morton, the pitcher the Cardinal hitter is going to face, is basically a sinker curveball pitcher, and the curveball has been his biggest pitch this year.
This is only supposed to happen when Michael Wacha is pitching.
Correct.
Not anybody else. His rain delays have added up to about 5 hours. There's a ground ball. We'll be saying that a lot tonight if Charlie Morton is right. We'll have an update on the health of Michael Wacha coming up in the second inning with Jim Hayes.
I think actually those rain delays are over 7.5 hours now in games that Wacha has started. You know, the trade that brought Charlie Morton to Pittsburgh is becoming a pretty good trade for the Pittsburgh. It was back in June 3rd of 2009. And Morton was traded along with Gorkys Hernandez and pitcher Jeff Locke in a deal for outfielder Nate McLeod. He's long gone from Atlanta.
Other way, that's a base hit. He does it again. Matt Adams is red hot right now. Tiptoeing around first, trotting into second base with a 2-out double.
At his first 4-hit game yesterday, going 4 for 5. He had a chance his final time up for a 5 for 5 and could have got them to 1 run back, but it wasn't to be. Flew out to left. They have the big shift on. Here's the breaking ball, and it's away. You know, it's up and away, and like Matt Adams said, you can see the shift now. There's only one infielder on the left side of the infield, and you just hit anything down that third base line, it's going to be extra bases. But he was kind of surprised early in the season with the shift, because he said in the minor leagues I always tried to hit the ball where it was pitched. And away from me, like that one, I take it to left.
And Craig, a ground ball to third. A low throw, and Davis is there. Matt Adams came in third in the league in average at .328. That's on the rise. No score after 1. Mercer due up for the Pirates as we move to the top of the second. Jim Hayes, I would never steal your thunder. You have the news on Michael Wacha. What do we know?
Well, he had an MRI today on his right shoulder, and the results came back. The Cardinals say the results aren't as good as they had hoped for, but they weren't bad either. Wacha has what the Cardinals call a right shoulder stress reaction. John Mozeliak saying the MRI revealed the shoulder is healing. Not enough for Wacha to be cleared to throw. Mozeliak says Wacha will continue his current rehab program, which includes exercises to strengthen the area around the shoulder for 2 weeks. And Mo says after that, they'll take another look, Dan.
So Michael Wacha still in question as Ike Davis looks at strike one from Adam Wainwright. To follow up on that, Jim, we talked about it yesterday. The injury is unique, to say the least. When you talk about what Walker is dealing with in his shoulder, the Cardinals have said it's about 1% that guys would never come back and pitch again or play again in the big leagues. They don't believe Michael Walker will be that 1%, but as you mentioned, they're going to be overly cautious with him. They're not going to go down that road, are they?
No, they're not. He's got such a huge upside, and that upside for so many years to come, Dan. So they're going to take a couple of weeks now. They might take a couple of weeks after that. They're not going to rush anything because with Michael Walker, they don't want to take any chances.
The Cardinals have called up Tyler Lyons, and here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball that's pulled foul. Marco Gonzalez was sent down. He was scheduled to make a start in the big leagues on Friday. He will not go on Friday, obviously. Do we know who will?
I'm told that it will be Joe Kelly, and as you know, he's been rehabbing at Memphis. Had his third rehab start last night. He pitched 4 1/3 of 1-run ball. Through 72 pitches, Joe told me today his hamstring feels great, and he feels like his command has improved every time out. He was hoping to get the start Friday. Dan, looks like he'll get it.
Finally, the lefty, Kevin Segrist. How far away is he from a rehab assignment?
Well, he's getting closer, Dan. Threw another bullpen today. Told me 25 to 30 pitches at about 85% effort. He said that he'll throw another bullpen on Wednesday at max effort, 100%. He says if that goes well, they'll start talking about a rehab assignment, Dan.
Great scoops, Jim. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Cardinals have an oddity now with 4 lefty relievers.
Choate, Lyons, Freeman, Greenwood.
Colton Wong's trying to get a little help from Matt Adams. Maybe playing that deep enough there. He's trying to say, hey, I can't see the catcher's signals. Matt Adams has a tough time seeing it too, just being screened at first base. 2 walks already.
Toyota keys to the game from Al Raboski.
Well, the first one is obvious. Waino has to be Waino. Just go out there and dominate like he's always has. You know, he's arguably the best pitcher in the National League and may start the All-Star game for the National League. And offense. Team's offense has been so sporadic. We know this is a good, talented offensive team. They've just been very inconsistent, and this would be a good week to get started.
Pedro Alvarez takes a ball inside. Adam Wainwright, 17 starts prior to tonight, had walked just 24. First 2 innings, he's walked 2.
Actually had a goal this year that he wanted to walk fewer batters than starts.
Liner and a base hit out to left center field. Davis makes the turn around second base. He'll stop there. First 2 have reached, and the 8th place hitter, Jordy Mercer, will be the hitter. The AT&T fan photo. You can send us your photo using Twitter, hashtag STLFanPhoto, to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast.
Adam Wainwright is making his 21st start and 25th game against the Pirates. He's 10-5 record-wise, but an ERA of 4.40. That would be surprising.
Now Jordy Mercer, they just put Clint Barmas on the DL. Clint played all that much. 42 games. He's 35 years of age. Barmas dealing with a left groin strain. Only had 88 plate appearances. Majority of the games have gone to Jordy Mercer.
He's more the offensive player at shortstop, and he, as you said, a hot spell right now, a 6-game hitting streak. He's 9 for 14 in his last 5 games, and during the hitting streak, 10 for 17, a 5.88 average.
Runners at first and second. 0-2 the count. Many of the pitches early on from Wainwright have been up. Hung that one, but gets away with it. Out at second. It's a double play. 5. to 4 to 3. The turn by young Colton Wong at second base.
You said it, Dan. You know, the pitch has been up, and including that last one, but hit hard, but that's part of what you need for a double play. A couple steps to his right, Carpenter fires a strike chest high, and Wong doesn't take any time getting it over to Matt Adams to complete the double play.
Now Charlie Morton, who's hitting .077, no home runs, 1 RBI. Runner at third, that's Ike Davis. We're in the top of the second. Rain delays tonight, and there's no score. Big happy birthday to Lila Kurtz, watching tonight on Fox Sports Midwest as she turned 28. So happy birthday to Lila. In the air down the right field line and out of play. Another big crowd here at Busch Stadium. First of 4 against the Pirates. The Cardinals just a half game back of Pittsburgh, a game in front of Cincinnati, and that trio of teams in the Central chasing still the Milwaukee Brewers.
And Milwaukee, they're trailing at home against Philadelphia 3-0 in the 5th.
The 0-2.
Having a little trouble pulling down on that curveball tonight, Adam Wainwright. Charlie Morton, as you said, just 2 for 26 with 15 strikeouts. With a 1-2 count, he's got him set up for another K. Playing very, very shallow in the outfield.
And a ground ball that's hit to short. Peralta. St. Louis as we move to the home half of the second inning. There's been a little bit of a rainy night here in St. Louis. Bautista, Trout, and Jones voted in for the All-Star game. Then Donaldson, Jeter, Cano, and Cabrera. Salvador Perez, the catcher for Kansas City after Matt Wieters went down with Tommy John. And Nelson Cruz voted in.
About the Oakland A's have 6 representatives for the All-Star game. I think that's the most by any team since 1975.
Here's Yadier Molina. Molina, Peralta, and Jay for St. Louis. Ground ball backing up Pedro Alvarez. Low throw, and that could have been error number 19. His errors primarily have been those types of plays. When he's got time, he can make the play easily, you would think. And yet those types of throws have really caused him issues. Again, 18 errors this year. Plenty of time. And a nice pick by Davis on the other end.
Kind of backs up on the ball, but then he's a little crow hop, but really almost flat-footed when he throws. And you say he played very good defensively against the Cardinals traditionally. We see all those errors, but rarely are they made against St. Louis.
You watch him move. He moves quite well. He's got a strong arm. And here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta fouls it back in. It's 0-2. You were talking about the deal that brought Charlie Morton from Atlanta to Pittsburgh. Lock and all-star. Morton has been a veteran now in their rotation. 6th season as a Pirate. Gorky's Hernandez did not work out. Nate McLeod, 3 years in Atlanta. In a single season, the most he played was 85 games. The highest he hit was 257.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you look at it now, that is such a lopsided deal in the favor of Pittsburgh.
Charlie Morton, they call him Brown Chuck. He gets so many ground balls. 55% of the time you'll see ground ball outs thanks to Charlie Morton.
Well, they talk about his sinker, but it just seems like it's so reliant on the curveball now.
And that's both foul.
You got a little bit of a shift on for Johnny Peralta. The shortstop, Mercer, way in the hole, and then they put the second baseman closer to behind second base. And a shift in the outfield to pull.
Goes the other way. This ball will get down. No. What a catch. Harrison in right, the all-star. He has very good speed. Of the outfield positions that he can play, which are all three, he's best in right. He also can play up the middle. What a play here.
Yeah, he can play the middle infield positions, even shortstop, but this is indicative of how he's played this year and why he's on the All-Star team. He's very, very versatile, and he's making plays like this. He's thrown out 2 runners at the plate, one from left field, one from right field. You see him play second, third, shortstop. And if the game counts, he could become a very valuable player off the bench for Mike Matheny. I've also had some people in the traveling party with the Pirates that say that as good as McCutchen is, Harrison is their MVP.
You sure about that?
They said it, and they travel with the ball club. Said McCutchen can hit. And he's hitting right now, but that Harrison is very, very smart, plays the game very intelligently.
Al, I ain't buying.
I know one's the reigning MVP.
I'll take the guy in center. He's pretty good. And that's not to take away from what Harrison has done this year. Now they've added Polanco. Looking forward to watching him the next 3 nights, maybe even tonight before it's all said and done. Tabata has been sent down as Jay swings and misses. A strikeout and first of the night for Charlie Morton. And Photo Day is coming up July 20th. The Cardinals host the Dodgers. It's a rematch of the League Championship Series. 25,000 fans, 16 and older, receive their own home white replica jersey. Compliments of AT&T. Also, select number of fans allowed to go on the field with their cameras. That's July 20th when the Dodgers are in St. Louis. That's the first series right after the All-Star break. Cardinals finish up the homestand here with the Pirates, and then we'll go to Milwaukee. The All-Star break will hit. Apparently that gentleman is lost.
Oh, Sam Freeman fan.
It's in St. Louis, Missouri. Josh Harrison, who is fly to right, also made a diving catch to take a hit away from Peralta.
Josh has hit .325 against the Cardinals with 3 doubles, 2 triples, a home run. Mostly coming off the bench.
He is a former Cub. The Pirates picked him up. They weren't sure what they had with him. Well, now he's developed into an all-star. I'm sure it helps that Clint Hurdle is part of the staff to make this decision a little easier for Mike Matheny.
I think he sold it to Mike Matheny.
And a base hit into center field. You would have to think that the National League team has got as much versatility as they possibly can in an all-star game when you got a guy like Harrison. You've got D. Gordon with great speed. You've got Matt Carpenter, who can play 4 different positions.
And, you know, like you said, you know, Mike Matheny's got guys that come off the bench that can steal a base for you, put different, you know, move around different spots, a little strategy, and once again pitches up for Wainwright.
Here's Starling Marte.
Mike's also saying to Harrison, I picked you on the All-Star team, now don't prove it to me.
I'm sure there's some folks that follow the Marlins that are a little upset that Casey McGee is not an All-Star.
Apparently he's on one of the final vote. He's one of the candidates, and yeah, especially after what Casey McGee did this weekend.
Marlins came in here over the weekend. They take 2 of 3. The Cardinals were a strike away from taking the first 2 games of the series, and they hit .339 against the Cardinals in those 3 games.
You know, the All-Star game will only be seen on Fox 2 locally on July 15th. But Dan, if the game counts, why do you penalize the managers by having to have at least 1 selection from every team?
Because it's an exhibition.
Well, then, yeah, but I mean, is it an exhibition or does the game count?
Again, you heard my thoughts.
And how do you have a
fly ball lifted into deep left center field? Holiday is back, and he makes the catch as Jay was sliding. Harrison back to first base. Nice play out in left field.
At Holiday, a long run, and the concentration, as you have to believe that John Jay, that slide right in front of you, be a little bit of a distraction. But a long run for Matt Holiday, and you can see he catches that in the middle of the warning track. Where was our base runner? Josh Harrison, he sees this ball, probably thinks it's going to be a home run, so he's around second. Now he has to retrace and get back ahead of the throw.
Concentration of Holiday very good. He's been dealing with some issues the lower half and had to be removed from a game over the weekend. There's a pitch that's taken for a ball by McCutchen as Wainwright stares back into the home plate umpire.
Yeah, Matt was taken out of the game on Saturday with knee kind of flared up on him, and they're hoping that wouldn't be a long-term situation, and he was in the lineup the next day.
1 out and a runner at first, and long look, the 1-0. Mike Matheny asked about exhibition or this one counts, and he said yesterday during an event that I was emceeing for season ticket holders, also for those that are part of group sales. And he said, look, we're going to treat this as a very important game. I can tell you, I think it would have been a different World Series if we have home field advantage. It does make a difference. So those are his thoughts heading into the All-Star game. He'll bring his family. It'll be his first ever All-Star appearance. Never made it as a player, the 4-time Gold Glover, and now does so as the manager of the National League.
And he's really embraced it. He enjoyed the selection, making some of the key decisions, talking to other managers that have been at the All-Star game.
Can they turn 2, 4, 6, 3? It's a double play. Cardinals have turned 2 tonight. That one off the bat of McCutchen. On Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years, and by 5 Hour Energy, recognizing those who, despite their own needs, put others first. It's turned into a gorgeous evening as the rain has stayed away. Always love that shot. Little kids with their dads. The girls and their dads, they come out too. Don't want to shortchange them. I always say, well, there's the sons with their dads, and don't want to forget the young girls who love Cardinals baseball. They tell me all the time, hey, don't forget about us. So I did. They're here too. Colton Wong with a home run, his second of the season last night. Put it in the bullpen in right. First home run was a grand slam, you may remember, against Kansas City, his first ever in the big leagues.
Went down because of a shoulder injury and stayed the minimum 15 days down there. Came back and was 2 for 4, including a home run yesterday. But even when you go down on a rehab situation, you get back here, you feel a little bit more acclimated to the big league scene. You feel like you're a little bit more ready. And some pretty good ball players have gone up and down, including some Hall of Famers.
The 2-2 and a breaking ball and a strike. Second strikeout for Charlie Morton. We'll have some fun tomorrow. It's the annual Fox Sports Midwest broadcast auction to benefit Cardinals Care. We're hoping to raise over $200,000. And something new this year for $99.99. You can purchase a Waka fan pack. It's got a bobblehead, replica ring, 2 game tickets. There it is.
And that's the box it comes in. So it's really a neat little keepsake in itself.
Those will be limited from game time until midnight tomorrow. And a strike at the knees to Adam Wainwright. Jim Hayes will be anchoring our coverage from the desk tomorrow. We'll also have a chance to visit with the first-round pick of the St. Louis Blues, who is in attendance tonight, I understand, and that's coming up later in our telecast. Holy jumping, will that be fun?
Come on, Panger. Get with it.
Wainwright is hitting .243, no home runs. He's driven in 2. My understanding is the top picks and the prospects are all in town for the St. Louis Blues, working out, getting on the ice a bit. So we'll have an update with Jim. Here's a 1-2. A check swing and a strikeout. That's 3 in a row. MLB.TV Premium, #1 live streaming sports service celebrating 12 years. You can join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live online or in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. All you have to do is visit Cardinals.com for details. That curveball's been pretty sharp here tonight.
He's got a good curveball. This time Charlie beat the Cardinals. It was back his first start of the year in 2011 here at Busch Stadium. He outpitched Kyle Loesch in that game. It was a 4-3 decision. He pitched
Two and 1.
0-7 in his last 9 starts against the Cardinals, and for a career 2-10 with an ERA over 6.
Carpenter looks at it low. 67% of the pitches he's seen this year he has not swung at. Works counts. That's an astonishing number. The 3-1 pitch. And a strike now, 3-2. Adam Wainwright has got 2 double plays behind him, which is now up to 14 this year. That's tied with Bronson Arroyo, who, by the way, is undergoing Tommy John surgery. We get news on that tonight. And a walk to Carpenter.
Carpenter, no stranger to walks, as he came in tied for 6th. Walks. That is now number 48. So it helps keep that on base percentage up.
So here's Holiday, who grounded out to 3rd. The ERA keeps dipping for Adam Wainwright, down to 1.84. What a year he has had. And it could be down to below 3 for his career, depending on what happens here tonight. And in this day and age, to be able to do something like that is extraordinary. And a ground ball that's hit to short, a flip, and a force play at 2nd. We'll head to the 4th, and there's no score. against Adam Wainwright. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm with Robbie Fabry, the Blues' top draft choice, number 21 overall. And I got to ask you, I know you were in Philly for the draft. What was the feeling like when the Blues called your name and you got to put that jersey on?
It was a great feeling. You know, you've been working so hard for this one moment, and for it to be the Blues, one of my top choices of where to go, and you know, such a great organization and great team. You know, it's a great feeling, and it was great to celebrate that with my family.
The Blues are holding their development camp. Started today, so you got to meet some of the guys in the organization and get a feel for things. What did you think of what you went through today?
It was awesome. You know, you go through testing and on ice, and you go through things that they do at the next level, and it just gives you a little taste of what it takes to get there.
Your former coaches gave you rave reviews in terms of talent. They say if you put on a little weight, a little size, you can write your own ticket. What do you think you have to do to advance through the ranks?
Like you said, you know, size and weight, but you know, that'll come as I mature and as I get bigger and older. You know, I'm just gonna try and work hard every time I get a chance to show these guys what I got, and you know, I started that today.
That ball is going to drop. You know, the Blues follow the Cardinals, and the Cardinals reciprocate a lot of big Blues fans. I know you're not a baseball guy, but you have to be a Cardinals fan. You know that, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm okay with that. Seeing all the great fans here today, I wouldn't mind being a part of that.
You're having fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, good luck to you. All right, Dan.
Okay, Jim, thanks, and we welcome him to the Blues organization. And the Cardinals here at the top of the fourth. Seeing Russell Martin with a runner at first, and no score in this game. Is it me, Al, or did he seem fairly young? And coming from me, that means he's probably 6.
He seemed young. Seemed older than 6. But definitely younger than you. We didn't say that often years ago, did we?
No. You made sure to make note of that.
You're talking about what a great season Wainwright's having. 8 of his 17 starts have been scoreless outings of 7 innings or more. 4 times he's gone 7 shutout innings, twice 8 shutout innings, and 2 times 9 shutout innings. With just 29 hits in those combined 8 shutout starts.
0-2 the count on Russell Martin. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays, the last off the bat of Andrew McCutchen, with Colton Wong positioned perfectly. They had a little shift on for him.
That last one there looked like Russell wanted to lean into it and try and hit his elbow again.
Martin, by the way, is grounded into 10 double plays. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That one caught Molina. Blocked by Yachty. That one bounced about 55 feet.
I was thinking 56, but we're in the neighborhood. Well out in front of the plate. You know, Adam, you mentioned it, only had 1 strikeout in his last outing, but was good enough to win. And see how good he is, that pitching with less stuff, but still can be dominant in the game.
Gets the ground ball, slowly hit and pulled foul. I'm not sure there's been any better blocking balls in the dirt than Mike Matheny, 4-time Gold Glover. Now Molina is tremendous in the throws. Mike was very good in his day, but in terms of blocking behind home plate, best I have seen. I don't know about you.
Well, you remember how he used to practice even during in between innings when the pitcher's warming up. He'd block the ball.
There's a strikeout, first tonight for Adam Wainwright. Martin didn't like that one. The National League All-Star pitchers: Bumgarner, Cueto, Chapman, Greinke and Kershaw, Kimbrel. Man, oh man. Pat Neshek. K-Rod has had a bounce-back season. Tyson Ross from San Diego. Tehran of Atlanta. Wainwright, Tony Watson of Pittsburgh, and Jordan Zimmerman. So you have a couple of middle relievers in Neshek and Watson who make the team.
It's nice to see that they're starting to recognize some of these middle relief guys.
And there's a base hit off the bat of Ike Davis past Carpenter, who was well off the line. Throw will go into second base. Runners at the corners for Pedro Alvarez.
I just set up the first and third 1-out situation so Wainwright can get his third double play of the evening. Had the shift on, and he beats the shift with the ball right where you would think Carpenter would be. And Walker's able to go first and third, but Holiday keeps the double play in order by throwing to second.
Alvarez single to center field, first time up. Good pitch in on his hands. Just 2:09 with runners in scoring position. Outfield is deep, and they are straight away. One ball, one strike. If you're wondering, Alvarez is grounded into 8 double plays. So the double play ball off the bat of Mercer, that was in the second. McCutchen in the third. Way out in front, 1-2. You always think about the potential of a strikeout. He has 81 Ks this year, does Pedro Alvarez, but that is not tops on their team. That distinction belongs to Starling Marte with 90. Got him with the curveball and a strikeout of Alvarez. 2 in the game, 2 in this inning.
Strikeouts are overrated, but there are times in a game where you would need to get one. And you got that runner at third base, less than 2 outs. In this case, runners at first and third. Once you get to 2 strikes, then you can put them away. And a guy like Alvarez, when you can throw that breaking ball and don't have to throw a strike with it, you're in a pretty good driver's seat.
Good pitch on the outside corner. Down, good late movement with that cutter. May have been one of his better pitches tonight.
There's a few times that cutter's been really loopy, almost a little too big.
Going with the cutter again. Molina sets up low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mercer grounded into a 5-4-3 double play back in the second. Now 2 strikes. Just get the feeling that tonight has been a grind already for Wainwright. Had the delay at the start of the game. He's been dealing with base runners tonight. Pirates have already stranded 3. Wainwright would love to make it 5 right here.
When you're well ahead of the count, and 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last one he got him to expand his zone, reach for a 1 up and away. That was a fastball, and now you'll see the curveball.
And a runner goes to second, throw down to third. And that almost went into the corner and left. So it'll be stolen base for Ike Davis.
It's his first in 4 attempts for Ike. But Yachty saw that Walker was kind of left here. He throws, and Carpenter does a good job. The runner screening him of keeping that ball going down the left field line.
Now runners at second and third. The 2-2 pitch from Wainwright. Popped up. He'll get out of the jam. Wong is there. Pirates strand 2. Look at the American League pitchers. The St. Louis connection to Mark Burley. Congratulations to the lefty of the Toronto Blue Jays. Also Max Scherzer of Detroit, the Cy Young Award winner from a year ago. Here's Matt Adams.
It's been tough to come by for the Cardinal hitters, everybody except Matt Adams. 4 hits yesterday, and the only hit for the Redbirds tonight.
And a strike at the knees. It's a double down the third base line. Career high 4 hits yesterday, and since he came back off the DL, he's been on a tear. 338 average. With 6 homers, 17 RBIs, and that's been 21 games.
He's got a 5-game hitting streak. He's 8 for 15, and on the homestand, he's 7 for 11.
Curveball just got a piece. One-two pitch, and Adams swings and misses. He struck out 4 of the last 6 he has seen. Catch every strikeout, every game ender, and every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around. Plenty of all-star coverage as well. It's weeknights at 9. Only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The curveball again gets Adams, and here is Alan Craig. One thing with Craig is that we have seen an inordinate amount of ground balls off his bat, so you wonder about this matchup tonight as he spins away from that breaking ball.
I mean, almost as if he's not picking up the ball, and there was a good example. Really thought that ball was going to hit him, and it breaks to the corner for a strike. Trying to go up the ladder. A lot of teams have been pitching him away. And he's hit a lot of easy little ground balls to second base, but you just have to feel like it's a matter of time. This guy is just too good of a hitter to stay down too long.
Taken a bit low.
Just get Alan Craig hitting the ball on the road as well as doing at home. That'll help things out quite a bit too.
Strikeout number 5 for Morton. He struck out the first 2 here in the home half of the 4th.
Good sinker.
Cincinnati with a 6-3 lead over the Cubs. That's in the top of the 8th. Milwaukee has scored 2 against the Phillies, but they trail by 1. 3-2. That's in the top of the 7th. Our ball game here, scoreless in the home half of the 4th. Only in the 4th, a rain delay to start the night.
Cardinals' toughest part of their road schedule has already been played. No more 3-city trips. Got a lot of games left in the division, and the leaderboard is going to change quite a bit.
Here's a 2-1. Chop to second. Walker stayed back a bit, then came in. Got the easier hop. Collection of bats. There's Adam Wainwright. This includes the postseason, what he's done against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Our lows never stop improving. So the first 16 starts, not bad. Recently, not bad at all either. Remember, he finished up the division series last year. Game 5 went the distance. Sent the Cardinals to the NLCS. Then it was on to the World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike on Charlie Morton. Cardinals with 1 hit. The Pirates with 5. They have stranded 5. Good pitch. Charlie Morton really settled in. Set down 4 straight. He had a walk to Carpenter prior to that. He'd struck out 3 in a row. Waves at that breaking ball. Wainwright with strikeout number 3.
That's the question.
Next time you're looking to pick up great seats to the game, head to StubHub. You can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Cardinals tickets home or road. It's StubHub.
And I guess the question is Charlie Morton pitching that well, and the Cardinal hitters that poor? It's a little bit of both, but mostly Charlie.
On a hop, Harrison retired. He's 1 for 3. That brings in Starling Marte, who's 1 for 2. Be nice to see Adam have an efficient inning.
Yeah, his pitch count is 73,
right.
But remember, he had 20 plus pitches in the first inning. 75.
There's a base hit into right, down into the corner it goes, and Marte can really fly. On his way to second, and he'll be in there standing up with a triple. He's 2 for 3 tonight, and a triple with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Dan, you mentioned about their outfield and outfield speed. You know, you put Polanco out in right field, and you probably do have the 3 fastest outfielders in the National League. Marte can run as he picks them up and lays them down. That's his 4th triple. Just 1 more than Matt Adams. No difference in running speed, though.
Andrew McCutchen is grounded into a double play and also flied to left. 0 for 2. Outfield is straight away. Curveball, and he went hammering at it.
He was trying to not only get the lead here, he's trying to get a 2-run home run as he just loaded up the backside and let that fly. But he got the breaking ball. Off-speed pitch.
Good pitch in on his hands. Now it's 0-2. So Andrew McCutchen, you wonder why the team has gotten better. Look at how he has picked things up. 364, the 9 home runs, 31 RBIs. This stretch in which the Pirates have gotten right back in the race.
National League Player of the Month for June and carrying it over here in July.
Gets him to reach. Carpenter gloves, and McCutchen is out. Nice play by the All-Star, Matt Carpenter. Vance Worley, Carlos Martinez. Will come your way tomorrow. The pregame show at 6:30. Johnny Peralta will lead it off for the Cardinals. Very good play there to end the top half of the inning by Matt Carpenter. And Peralta hits a high fly ball out to right. And Harrison makes the catch in front of the track for the first down here in the home half of the fifth, and that's 5 in a row by the right-hander.
Charlie, his last time out, he stopped a 2-game losing streak with a victory. Their starters weren't very good the first couple months, but with McCutchen getting better, Harrison getting more playing time, their starting pitching has gotten better.
Well, Morton started the year with 6 straight losses as John Jay takes a ball. Last start against Arizona, 1 run over 6. Prior to that, he had a career best 11 strikeouts, but that was a duel with David Price. And even though he had the strikeouts, he took the loss. So the Cardinals are catching him at a time where the record isn't great, but he is pitching well.
Yes.
6'5", 235 pounds from Flemington, New Jersey.
Interesting, Dan, that here we get the Pirates and the Cardinals. Both of them have highly touted prospects, and neither one of the guys, Polanco or Taveras, are playing in this game. John Jay gets the start based on what he's done against Charlie Morton's. He's He's 450 average against him with a 400 on base percentage.
Here's a 3-2 pitch, and Jay leaned in just a bit. Russell Martin was pleading his case. By the way, if you were wondering, the ruling on the Martin play when he was hit on the elbow and leaned in and not awarded first base, it's a dead ball, ruled a ball in the count. See the reaction there by Martin, kind of shrugged his shoulders as if to say, well, what's that? Didn't he lean in a little bit?
Looked like the knee might have just flinched a little bit forward.
So Jay, no stranger to being hit by a pitch, stands at first base. 1 out. Now Wong. Little flare out to shallow center. Here comes McCutchen. Almost overran it.
Yeah.
That may give you an idea why he plays as deep as he does. I mean, this guy is a former track star and can cover as much ground as anybody in baseball.
Yeah, some people criticize him for how deep he plays, but you can see here, he has the speed, and once he gets motoring, he can make up a lot of ground. And we've seen him make some sensational catches left and right.
So runner at first is Jay. And here is Adam Wainwright. Adam has his annual Wayno's World of Fantasy Football coming up, all for charity. And those that participate in the Football League will compete with Wainwright, Holiday, Craig, Matt Carpenter, Michael Wacha, Shelby Miller, Lance Lynn. We'll tell you more about it after this timeout. Wainwright back to the mound. We'll head to the 6th, and there's no score from Busch Stadium. going back to what Adam Wainwright is doing. Participants have a chance to have a draft day experience here at Busch Stadium. That'll be August 15th. Fox Sports Midwest is involved with this as well. You get autographed items, a t-shirt, food is provided. After the draft, Cardinal players will depart, so you're with them all day during the draft. They get ready for the game that night against San Diego. You'll also get a tour of Busch Stadium, access to batting practice, watch the game from a party suite that night, then play the guys in fantasy football all season long. It's $3,000 to jump in. $3,000. That is a contribution, 501c3. And Marshall Falk will be a part of this. I know they're trying to get Kurt Warner as well. And the proceeds for Adams' particular football league will go to Operation Food Search, Habitat for Humanity St. Louis, Cardinals Care, and then also what he does for orphanages and various people that need clean water. It's amazing what he's been able to do. And now, after 1 year in St. Louis, they've advanced this throughout Major League Baseball. Skip Schumacher will do it in Cincinnati. Freddie Freeman in Atlanta. They've got Max Scherzer in Detroit. Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers. David Wright with the Mets. Neil Walker is doing it for Pittsburgh, and here he stands in. Tim Hudson for San Francisco. Last year they raised over $120,000, and this year they hope to get over $2 million. This is all started by Adam and his brother Trey Wainwright, trying to make a difference. And all you have to do is head to the website bigleagueimpact.org. bigleagueimpact.org. Scheduled to launch on Thursday. You can sign up. This will sell out quickly. It's also been a very good opportunity for many organizations, the business world, to treat their clients and employees, and they put on a first-class event. So hopefully you jump in and make a contribution and have a little fun.
I remember what they did just in St. Louis, and now expanded into all the other cities. That can really multiply and benefit so many more people and organizations.
You can see on the website why Adam has done it. Also videos and pictures of his trips to see where that money has gone, to make sure personally he wanted to see how the money was being used. And again, they're hoping to raise over $2 million this year. bigleagueimpact.org. Great stuff with Trey and Adam. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Neil Walker. The hesitation by Adam Wainwright, who has walked 2. Those 2 walks coming in the first and the second. He has struck out 3, and those 3 coming in the 4th and the 5th.
Well, we got to tell Adam it's okay to get guys out that are helping you out with the cause. He walked Walker in the first, and then he gave up a base hit to him leading off the 4th.
Goodbye. And he freezes up with a breaking ball.
I was involved in a pretty neat event, little situation this past January. The Cardinals had the AA franchise in Arkansas for many, many years. And John Young put together a reunion, and we had about 60 former Arkansas Travelers, in for a weekend down in Little Rock. Great time. And I remember my friends, the Taylors, Bob and Wanda Taylor down there. But Bob gave me a piece of paper in January, and I've been carrying it in my pocket the whole time. We have to say hello to Sally and Roy Jean of Fort Smith, Arkansas. So I fulfilled my obligation to Bob Taylor. That was a neat deal. And also, we got another big Cardinal fan, Lois Wallen, 94-year-old widow, lives in Arkansas, and she never misses one of our broadcasts. So we want to say a big shout out to Lois.
Here's the 0-2. And a 1-2 pitch to Russell Martin, taken just a bit high.
I got a little bit underneath that cutter and stay on top of it. Have that good bite down and away. 2-2 count. Curveball. That's a good one right there. I mean, the only thing you can really do with that thing is pound it in the dirt. Talking about that event, third base coach Nick Leyva. He was a former manager, at Little Rock. Was there. Jim Riggleman. I want the curveball, fastball in.
Peralta puts it away. There's 2 down. Gibson, Carlton, Wainwright. PJC Healthcare difference makers, and he's getting into that territory now. Adam Wainwright, if he's not already, is going down as one of the great all-time Cardinal pitchers in the history of this franchise.
10+ wins and an ERA under 2 at the All-Star break. Gibby did it in 68. Carlton turned around and did it in 69. Imagine there's a whole bunch of young kids go, wait a minute, Carlton pitched for the Cardinals? Yeah. And you even mentioned it yesterday, and I rustle my feathers every time I hear somebody talk about the bad teams in the 70s. Well, if Gussie Busch wouldn't come down with the ultimatum to trade Steve Carlton over $5,000 contract dispute, he wanted the ungodly sum of $70,000 a year, and they only wanted to pay him $65,000. You don't trade Steve Carlton, and then later on the Cardinals traded Jerry Royce. There's 500 wins. How many pennants, how many more championships would the Cardinals have?
As I said, it would have been a different decade.
Absolutely.
You had some teams that were awfully close too.
Oh, we had basically 3 years. We either lost on the last day, or one time it was even after the season was over. Our season was over. But the Cubs were playing the Mets. They had a doubleheader. If the Cubs would have swept the Mets, we would have come in the back door. And the Mets won the first game. They said we aren't playing the second because they were going to postseason. We said, we'll forfeit it. Go ahead.
Third walk issued by Adam Wainwright. His pitch count is at 95. The Cardinals on the top of the lineup coming up, and here is Pedro Alvarez, who is singled to center and then struck out back in the 4th.
Pitch count is not that big a deal with Adam Wainwright. He's 6'7". He's a grown man, great athlete, so he doesn't really look at that. But the fact is, he's had base runners all over the place. You do have to consider that.
Colton Wong is on the outfield grass for Alvarez.
Johnny Peralta is still on the third base side of second. But you see him there with 2 outs.
Two and 0.
Cardinal pitchers have had a tough time over the years with Alvarez. He's got 11 home runs, 39 RBIs since 2011, the most by any player in the big leagues. But most of that was a couple years ago.
Two balls and 1 strike. Just wonder if this will be the final inning of work for Adam. He's had 100 pitches, and again, as you pointed out, big, strong guy. However, he does have the issue with the arm from a few starts ago, which should be an issue now. But more so than the pitch count, it's the results. The results have been good, no runs, but he has been pitching with runners on. The 3 walks also give you a little cause for concern too.
And you kind of have to sit there and, outside of Adam Wainwright, we haven't seen a lot of innings from the Cardinals starters. So that bullpen is a little bit taxed.
Yeah, that's the flip
So
side.
that's the flip side. Now we don't know when Lyons last threw, and I thought he was starting down there.
The 2-2 pitch. Got him. Strikeout of Alvarez. 2 in the inning. 5 tonight. Go online right now. BigLeagueImpact.org. Struck out twice to go along with a single. Top of the lineup for the Cardinals this season. Right-handed pitching. What he's done against the various types of pitches against him. Against the curveball, he is a 111 hitter.
Now, most guys, when they throw a curveball and you see this up around your shoulders, you're thinking you're going to get a hanger. But Wainwright, his 12-6, that thing still drops down below the knees and extremely effective.
At this point, no activity in the Cardinals pen. They are stretching out there, but usually in the 6th inning, it's a routine that was done at one point by Carlos Martinez and also closer Trevor Rosenthal.
And we don't know. Rosenthal still may have a day off. I knew he was not available yesterday, but with his workload, you got to give him a little breather. And Adam Wainwright, no surprise to me, he's the ace. He's one that understands his responsibility.
And a strike at the knees. Cardinals trying to pick up their 2nd hit, just 1 tonight. That is it. A double by Adams back in the 1st. Morton has struck out 5. He's hit a man and walked 1.
3 base runners, and hard to get something going, especially when you're a team that doesn't hit many home runs. Sometimes it takes 4 hits to get a run.
You mentioned the numbers. Morton has had his issues against St. Louis. 2 in 10 and 15 starts.
That guy isn't this guy pitching. Not tonight.
Leadoff walk. July 8th, we will auction off exclusive Cardinals experiences during the annual Cardinals Care broadcast auction. In addition to the experiences, the first 2,000 fans will have the chance to purchase a special fan pack. There it is, the Waka fan pack. That'll go all the way through midnight tomorrow. It's all about caring for kids. Michael Hall runs Cardinals Care. They've raised over $21 million for kids in St. Louis, and we hope to raise over $200,000 to add to that $21 million tomorrow night. Carpenter's been on base twice with a pair of walks, and now it's Holliday, who's 0 for 2.
Things are getting a little closer in the Central Division as Cincinnati has posted a victory tonight, 9-3 over the Cubs.
Jay Bruce playing some first base now with Votto out. Breaking ball, and it's taken low. Charlie Morton changed his delivery in 2011 very much to mimic Roy Halladay, and if you watch him, it's very similar in the delivery. Idea was to drop his arm angle to get sink on the ball. Ground ball, double play. Out at second, out at first. Somebody knocked the C out in Big Mac land. Download the new Big D app for great deals sent directly to your smartphone right now. Get a free large sandwich with any purchase just for downloading. Matt Carpenter going in very hard second base.
They're trying to do everything you can to disrupt that return throw. And you can see Neil Walker's respecting that, but understands it's part of the game. Only hit this game off the bat of Matt Adams back in the first inning, a 2-out double.
Wonder how much thought Mike Matheny gave to Matt Adams making the All-Star team. I'm sure that was not an easy decision when you're dealing with your own players that are putting up good numbers.
Sure, and I think also, you have to take in consideration what the players did last year for you.
Nice play by Davis to his right, and Morton is at the bag. Been some good defense behind him tonight as well. We head to the 7th. For the Pittsburgh Pirates in the top of the 7th. The All-Star reserves. Matt Carpenter on that list. Pretty good firepower coming off the bench when you think about Lucroy, the year he's had. Freddie Freeman. D. Gordon could steal a base for you. Giancarlo Stanton.
Frazier. Let's hope it's good enough to win. Let's hope we'll be in late October appreciating the efforts by the National League squad, giving us home field advantage.
Here's Mercer. We're underway here in the top of the 7th. Pitch count at 103 for Adam Wainwright. It'll be Mercer, Charlie Morton, and Josh Harrison. Morton obviously has pitched well. Cardinal bats have been silenced tonight. There's also been some good defense behind him. Double play turned moments ago. You had the Harrison catch early on. Ike Davis with the final out in the bottom of the 6th. Hit out of play, and it's 1-2.
Pirates have stranded 7 runners through the first 6 innings. So very important with your pitch count over 100 to get this leadoff man. 8th place hitter, then you have the pitcher spot come up. Hopefully this will be a quick and efficient inning.
One, 2 is hit out to center and a base hit. This start does kind of sum up the way that Wainwright has been this year. Not his best stuff in terms of control. He's walked 3. He's allowed 7 hits. He's been dealing with base runners all night, and yet the Pirates look up and they haven't scored.
And the 4th time in this game, the leadoff man has reached base. With the pitcher spot up, see how aggressive the Cardinals want to play their bunt defense.
Cardinals have turned 2 double plays, one in the 2nd and another in the 3rd. Adams holding at first, Carpenter charging at 3rd. He's swinging away. Thank you very much. Wong going back, makes the catch. Back to the bag at first goes Jordy Mercer. Now Harrison, who is 1 for 3 with a single to center. Hilton St. Louis Ballpark welcomes their newest neighbor, Ballpark Village. Perfect ending to a day or night at Ballpark Village. A Cardinals win and a stay at Hilton St. Louis Ballpark. Just head to HiltonSt.Louis.com or call 421-1776. Can they turn their 3rd double play? Runner goes. They'll avoid the double play. Carpenter only play across the diamond. So the move pays off to start Mercer. He's in scoring position with 2 down.
Bring up Starling Marte, who was 2 for 3 off of Adam tonight.
A single to center back in the 1st inning. A triple into the corner and right.
Remember the one time he was retired was the long drive out in left center that was caught by Holiday on a nice running catch.
Outfield is straight away. 2 outs. Runner at 2nd. And hit by the pitch is Marte as he goes down.
Shaking his hand, but that ball was up around the helmet region. Did he get his hand up and deflect the ball?
Pirates now will have runners at 1st and 2nd, and McCutchen due up.
Another breaking ball that just doesn't pull down on it, and he freezes. That's what I thought. It hit him in the back of the neck, but he was holding his hand. Did you see way
yep.
out?
Now he's grabbing
that's
the
where
shoulder.
you've been hit.
Just maybe a little stinger. Who knows? Either way, he'll be at first base. And a huge plate appearance here in this game.
And
Maybe just a little numbness down the arm.
Yeah, and obviously anybody that knows Adam Wainwright and saw that pitch know there was no intention there. The ball just got away from him.
You wouldn't think he's trying to hit Marte to get to McCutchen with the game on the line.
Marte has done damage against him tonight, and McCutchen is 0 for 3 and hit into a double play. But all we need is a little simple out here to get out of the seventh.
He's had him at times off balance in his at-bats. The curveball in the dirt, kept in front by Molina.
Nice. Also got that running speed of McCutchen. It's a nice play by Carpenter in the fifth to retire him on a bang bang play. 350 with runners in scoring position.
And it's in the air. Should be caught. Craig makes the play. Wainwright pitches out of the jam. The Pirates have stranded 9 tonight. Six innings, one hit. That's it. McCutchen hitless tonight. Wainwright threw 7, and Matt Adams, the one hit, a double, was left stranded. That was in the first. The Cardinals received a couple of walks to Carpenter in the third and the sixth. Couldn't bring him even to second base. Holiday bounced into his 14th double play last inning. And now it's Craig, Molina, and Peralta.
See Derek Lilliquist talking to Adam. No one warming up in the Cardinal bullpen, so I'm sure they're asking him how he feels, and like an ace, he's fine.
And a breaking ball and a strike to Craig, who's grounded out to third and also struck out swinging.
This is really an important game for the Cardinals. Important week, and you need to start off in the right way.
Fly ball out to shallow right. Harrison, one away. The only hit against Charlie Morton down the left field line off the bat of Matt Adams. A double. And then Craig came up and grounded out to third to end the threat.
This big crowd would love to see Yachty do something. get him on the scoreboard. He had a tough June, but he's on a much better streak right now.
And that's a diving stop by Alvarez. Give this defense of the Pirates some credit tonight, too.
And like I said, Alvarez, you see all the errors, but when he's playing against the Cardinals, he usually makes plays like that.
Wainwright right now, his ERA at 1.79, and initially bobbled by Alvarez. And he has had 9 starts, 7 or more innings, and no runs allowed.
I see Sam Freeman. Freeman was up right at the end of last inning, and now he's throwing, so this could be, Adams' night could be finished. So, I understand some handshakes in that Cardinal dugout, and Adam once again just pitches his tail off.
Crowd tonight 42,448, 22nd sellout this year. The pitch count for Morton just over 80. He has been very efficient. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Just thinking at some time he might hang one of those breaking balls.
Well, that's it. Dan, when you throw a high percentage of breaking balls, eventually you're going to do that. But as you said earlier,
Ike Davis.
These two pitchers don't give up the gopher ball.
5 strikeouts, 11 ground ball outs, and very good defense behind him. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update. Sam Freeman is our Chevy called to the pen.
15 of his 18 appearances have been scoreless. Opponents are just batting 183 against the young lefty. And he has really emerged this year as a young pitcher, gone up and down the ladder for the last 3 years, but he looks like and has pitched like he wants to stay at this level this year.
And one man's loss is another man's gain, as Segrist has missed time and Freeman has jumped right in that role. Neil Walker, the switch hitter.
And I think we can say that he's done as good a job as Kevin Segrist. We hope Kevin gets back, but Cardinals, a real oddity right now, have 4 left-handed relievers in their bullpen.
Two balls and no strikes. Walker walked back in the first. Single to center. Struck out in the 6th. Wainwright, 7 innings. No runs allowed.
Very important inning right here, the 8th inning. Got a battle back from a 2-0 count.
Here's a 2-1. And a ground ball chopped towards third, and a foul ball.
I think that was good that it was foul. I don't know if Carpenter would have been able to throw Walker out. Mentioned Walker, a switch hitter, 275 right-handed, came in and he was 1 for 2, so his 272 left-handed has gone up, but 10 of his 11 home runs are batting left-handed. Just 1 home run, 3 RBIs from the right side.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Good rip by Walker. Al mentioned earlier, possesses power, 11 home runs, but his power side is the left side.
And first time we can remember that Walker's being the cleanup hitter.
Base hit. So again, the Pirates with base runners just about every inning here tonight. Leadoff hit for Walker. He's on base for the 3rd time.
And you see this pitch down in the middle of the plate and just hammered back up the middle. Neil, Pittsburgh native. His dad was a major league pitcher and actually had a brief stint with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Russell Martin was flying to left. He is struck out looking and grounded out to short. Cardinals have been out hit in this game 8-1, and Martin hitting just above 100 against lefties this year.
Right-hander getting up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Blocked again very nicely by Yadier Molina.
It's like Jason Mott starting to throw in the Cardinal bullpen.
Wainwright will not get his 12th win here tonight. 112 pitches for the Cardinals right-hander.
Did everything he could.
ERA now at 1.79.
And that leads the major leagues.
Here's a 1-0. The amazing aspect of Adam Wainwright is that if you go back to June 10th, his ERA is .48. However, not the lowest in the major leagues during that span. A guy named Kershaw at .23.
Now Kershaw has 36 scoreless innings. That streak still intact.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cardinals left Jay, Long, and the pitcher spot due up.
Kind of thinking ahead a little bit, and I'm thinking that Rosenthal may not be available with Mott warming up. Is Neshek the Cardinal closer for the evening? He would be both our first choice, wouldn't he?
I'd say he'd be the guy, sure.
Yeah. And
1-2 in the dirt, 2-2. Neshek does have a save. That was a game against Kansas City when Trevor was unavailable, and he picked up his first major league save earlier this year.
And he's added one more to that total. Had like 97 in the minor leagues, and when he got that first save, congratulated him, and he said it's about time. Still a big thrill for him.
Here's a 2-2 from Sam Freeman. And a strikeout of Russell Martin. Could not pull the trigger. Went with a fastball. And there's one away.
Boy, there's more hitters today that take fastball strikes. Second time that's happened with Russell Martin today. Now the pinch hitter, Gabby Sanchez, has done a real nice job platooning at first base and coming off the bench for the Pirates.
He's always been known as a very good pinch hitter.
He's 5 for 14 in 8 games this season against St. Louis.
One out, runner at first. And the changeup in the dirt. Again blocked by Yadier Molina.
That's a good pitch for Sam Freeman. It's a pitch that I think that they're trying to get him to use more and more. He can throw mid-90s with the fastball. His slider at times is very effective. And when he has that changeup, it's a nice pitch for him. There's a good example. Really sells it with the same arm angle. See the change-up grip and good result. A 1-1 count. Back-to-back change-ups, and they're going to try and make it 3 in a row. Still had him out in front. Gabby pantomime, wait back, wait back. Sanchez, 9 for 31 with 6 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year, and 275 coming off the bench. So 3 straight change-ups. What does Yachty think here? Fastball in. Fastball up and away. I like that location better anyway. Sanchez was an all-star a few years back when he was with the Florida Marlins. Changeup. Good block. You'll notice that Yadier Molina looks into the dugout before he puts down the signs. What he's doing there is he's looking to Mike Matheny, not for pitch selection, but just what kind of a defense do they want with a base runner at first base. They want him to step off and throw over. Do you want to do different things? It's going to be look like throw to first. But those are the signs that you're getting from the manager. It's not calling the game. Look over here. Now Mike will give him the signs whether he wants what he wants him to do with the runner at first base. Throw over to first base again.
The 2-2. Instead, another check on Neil Walker.
Walker has 2 steals and 3 attempts. Pirates have already hit into 2 double plays. They started a runner later to stay out of a double play. And the changeup. He's seen so many changeups that now he's kind of got a good idea how to lay off it, recognizing it, and starting down, and so now the count is full. Hurdle probably will send the runner at first. So let's see if Mike tries to do something defensively to counter it.
Going to strike him out, throw him out.
Another changeup.
There goes Walker, and it's taken for a ball. So a single by Walker, strikeout of Martin, walk to Sanchez, and Pedro Alvarez will be the hitter. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Pirates tonight have stranded 9. They have received now 4 walks in this game. Against lefties, Alvarez at 193.
Tony Watson will be the next pitcher for the Pirates, the all-star middle reliever, and he's a good one.
If we get to that point in the lineup, double play,
Yeah.
Morton could go back out there. His pitch count is well below 100.
And the way Watson is warming up, it's the kind of what you're talking about. He's waiting to seeing how the inning develops.
Good pitch. 1-1.
The changeup that he threw so many times to Sanchez was good practice for Alvarez. That's the pitch that I would think that Yachty would want to. He could throw the breaking ball away, but the changeup is a very good pitch for him.
Alvarez pops it up. Shallow center. John Jay coming on. Makes the catch. Big out. And there's 2 away. Brings in the shortstop, Jordy Mercer, who's hit into a double play. Popped out to second. Single to center.
A vote of confidence right now that Freeman will get a chance against the right-hander. With Mott warmed up.
Hit sharply to second. Wong bobbles it and safe at first. Bases loaded now for Pittsburgh.
Hit hard, but at this level that play has to be made, and I'm sure Colton Wong would mad at himself for not making the play.
His 6th there this year, and a costly one potentially.
Got it, knocked it down, but couldn't keep it in front of him. By the time he picked it up, it was too late.
So now they will pinch hit for Charlie Morton.
Looks like Polanco.
So here is the young outfielder, the sensation we've been hearing so much about. He was not in the starting lineup. But I'll tell you what, if you were down on the field for batting practice like we were, you saw a show put on by this young man. What a talent he is.
Polanco leads the National League rookies in runs scored, opponent's batting average since making his big league debut, and that was on June 10th. Remember, he got off to a tremendous start as he hit almost something, what, first 13 games? Nobody had done that since Clemente.
So reach base safely in every game he's played in with the exception of 2. He's played in 25, and now he comes in with the bases loaded.
In 351 in 9 road games, but my understanding is Clint Hurdle saw his 4 at-bats yesterday and said he needs a break. He also had the
great running speed. He's got pop in his bat. This is Major League Rookies since June 10th, where he stands on.
1 ball, 1 strike. You think about rookies and young players. Do they get overly aggressive in this type of spot? We shall see.
Pittsburgh, the fans were clamoring, felt that they were cheap. They didn't want to bring him up until after June, to where his arbitration wouldn't start.
1-2.
But really, some of the the Pirate personnel really believed that they brought him up because they had to, but they really wish they could have kept him down for a couple more weeks.
Freeman gets the strikeout. By Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Sam Freeman strikes out Polanco. It's as loud as we've heard this crowd tonight. Cardinals with 1 hit. It is a scoreless ball game as we move to the bottom of the 8th. With the inning being advanced, the Pirates pinch hit for Morton, who is only at 84 pitches. However, they get this tough lefty.
With the bases loaded, you got to take that shot. And surprised that John Jay is hitting against this lefty. I know John Jay has hit left-handers very well this year. Talking about an all-star that Mike Matheny selected, 5-0, 0.89 ERA. And opponents are batting 199 against Tony Watson. See his numbers. He's only been scored upon 4 times in his 41 appearances.
Can't believe they let John Jay face this lefty.
I mean, he's leading the league against left-handed pitching, but it pays off right here.
Oh, come on, Al. Of course they're going to have Jay hit. He's been outstanding this year.
He adds to his .372 batting average against left-handed pitching, first in the National League.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that. I mean, the way that he has hit lefties this year, being able to go the other way just like he did, he's been just outstanding. And now Colton Wong, who made what could have been a costly error, has a chance to atone for that. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do.
Oh, the Pirates are expecting the bunt.
Pedro Alvarez way in on the grass near the line at third. Wong is showing bunt and a check on Jay. So 5 for 11 against Watson.
I take everything back I said.
Well, another reason why you think
absolutely
you keep him in there. Move that paid off, and now Wong again showing bunt, and he gets it down. Watson only plays to go to first, and the Cardinals have a man in scoring position. Neil Walker was tied up with Joe West, the crew chief. I'm not sure if he's laughing about it, going back to his position, or frustrated. Yeah, he's laughing a little bit. He was tied up with Joe West, and he couldn't believe it. Watch this, if it still will show it in this angle.
Watch the second baseman comes down here, and then Joe West, he's backing up the play. The Cowboys not going to let you get in front of him and obscure his view. How about now the Cardinals phenom will get a chance to make a difference. Their rookie did not come through with the bases loaded. Can Oscar Taveras.
One out, runner at second. Taveras rips it into right, but the catch is made, and it turns into a double play. Catch by Harrison. Jay doubled off his second base.
Cardinals only 2 hits on the night, but as we said, it's tied. Pat Neshek, an all-star, the National League all-star, and here you can see the Cardinals 4 selections. 6th time for Yachty, he was voted in by the fans. 3rd selection for Adam Wainwright, he was voted by the players. And Matt Carpenter, his 2nd. Neshek's first, they were manager Mike Matheny's choices. And what a season that Neshek's had. 40 appearances. You see that ERA, second most by major league relievers. Leads all National League relievers with a 0.57 whip. He's first in appearances with 41. Only been scored on him 3 times.
Shallow right, going out Colton Long, and makes the play. The pop-up off the bat of Josh Harrison. Cardinals will have the top of the lineup looking ahead to the bottom half of the ninth. Josh Harrison is 1 for 5 tonight, and it brings in Starling Marte, who has singled, tripled, and was hit by a pitch.
Nice little reunion for Pat Neshek with his brother, who was a member of the grounds crew for the Minnesota Twins. But remember, he came to sign late with the Cardinals, signed as a minor league free agent, got an invite to spring training. The rest is history.
The advice of his dad this offseason: throw more fastballs. He has done that. Velocity has gotten better. Exclusively slider guy a year ago against right-handers, and now he's mixed it up. Fastball, slider, and you'll see the occasional changeup too.
Yeah, I think he'll incorporate more of that in the second half. But you know, if you just throw slider after slider like you did last year, you reach back for that fastball and it's not there. So he had to build that arm strength back up. There you see his fastball is good enough. He's gained a couple miles an hour in velocity this season. Throws from that unusual angle, and it really should make him very effective with all the other conventional over the top or 3/4 relievers. Change up right here, or slider.
Sam Freeman in the 8th after 7 scoreless by Wainwright.
Nice job for the young lefty.
Here's a 1-2. Fouled back and a good cut. Mentioned earlier, Marte with 90 strikeouts this year.
One ball, 2 strikes. Slider.
And he got him. A strikeout as Molina held on. First strikeout for Pat Neshek, 2 down.
And I think his slider's even gotten better as the season's gone along also.
I agree.
Good sliders don't have to break a lot. Just make it off the plate and miss a round bat.
That's the MVP. He just made look foolish on the first pitch, but we know that can change in an at bat. But it does give you an idea of the outstanding movement that he does have. 0-2. McCutchen thought he had time granted. He did not. And Neshek continued to pitch.
That's what you're supposed to do. You ask for time, but it has to be granted. And Alan Porter, a home plate umpire, did not grant it. So he's ahead in the count. 0-2. Whatever it is, keep it away from it. Fastball away.
Back to Neshek. And he does it again. It's a 1-2-3. Top of the ninth from the All-Star. on Fox. Baseball's best. Don't miss the action. Tuesday, July 15th at 6:30 on Fox. Well, if you include yesterday's loss and going through the 8th inning tonight, Matt Adams is 5 for 8. The rest of the team is 7 for 52.
One of those 7 was Seth Mainis' base hit. Justin Wilson will take over here. Now they're fine lefty out of their bullpen. He's 2-0. He's got a 4.41 ERA in his 37 appearances. And opponents are batting .213 off of Justin.
The Cardinals with 2 hits tonight. The first pitch taken outside. Justin Wilson wearing a Wilson glove, pointed out by our director Tom Mee. He doesn't miss a beat. Two balls and no strikes. Matt Carpenter has just got to frustrate so many pitchers. Rarely, if ever, do you see him swing at balls outside the zone. He'll tempt you, but he does not usually go after those pitches. 3-0. He's drawn 2 walks tonight.
I think 99% of the hitters still have the green light on 3-0, but Matt Carpenter, you can almost bet's not going to swing at it unless it's right there on the tee where he's looking for it.
He walked him. The winning run is aboard. His 3rd walk tonight. Give Matt Carpenter an awful lot of credit. He was 0 for now his last 10. And since that time, 3 walks. He has 1 hit during the homestand, but still finding a way to get on.
Yeah, that's, and usually we say a guy starts hitting after he's, you know, seeing the ball so clearly with the walks. 3 for 7, a couple strikeouts against this lefty.
Holiday came up back in the 6th with a runner at first. That was Carpenter, and bounced into his 14th double play this year. You'd love to change that, as the outfield is as deep as you can play here at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, especially in center and right. Harrison is way back.
The 0-1. Now 0-2. Holiday with a fly ball out to right. Harrison under it, gets himself in a position to throw. Carpenter back to the bag at first, and there's 1 away. There is no activity, if you're wondering, in the Cardinals pen.
Dan, this is a big game right here between the 2nd and 3rd place clubs in the National League Central. Milwaukee lost tonight at home to Philadelphia 3-2. So the winner of this can pick up a game. And the winner of this is going to be in 2nd place no matter what.
Matt Adams, a double. The opposite way. That was back in the 1st. Struck out in the 4th. Took a good play by Ike Davis to rob him in the 6th.
Pittsburgh wins this game, they'll be 3.5 games back.
Adams out to deep right. Did he walk it off? You bet he did.
that one swing, the Cardinals regain second place, and they're 4 games back behind Milwaukee. That is the kind of big win that the Cardinals have really needed. They win this game 2-0 on just 3 hits, 2 of them by Matt Adams, including the game winner, a 2-run home run. Set up away. It's a breaking ball, and it stays in the middle of the plate. Matt Adams knew it as soon as he hit it, that he knew that was a game winner. Look at this, as he's raising his hand. Somehow, Dan, he's the player of the game.
The Budweiser player of the game, first baseman Matt Adams, who has been on a tear. It's off to the post-game show. The Cardinals win it in dramatic fashion. A walk-off winner here at Busch.